Welcome to Every Fact Ever. Like and subscribe for more amazing facts. This is 50 facts about Apple. Fact number 1. Apple's slogan, Think Different, is a homage to all the visionaries who challenged the conventions and dared to do something different with the world. It was first used in an Apple advertisement in 1997 as an acknowledgement to those who made major contributions in the tech world by defying the norms. It was also a nod to the IBM that it was using the slogan Think IBM to sell their ThinkPads at the time. Fact number 2. When Apple products were first released in Japan, people thought they were actually fruit. The confusing name was a huge issue in Japan and caused a great deal of confusion for those wanting to purchase and sell the items. When Apple products were delivered, Japanese people would put the boxes into refrigerated trucks, fearing the products would get spoiled in the heat. Fact number 3. During the initial release, the Apple logo on the back of the Apple laptop would glow upside down. The idea was that it should face the user when opening the laptop. It was later reversed sometime in the 90s, so it would look good in movies that were showing the backside of the laptop. Fact number 4. The iPod name was inspired by the pod door in the film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Copyright Vinnie Cielo gave the iPod its name after seeing what it would look like. Steve Jobs initially wanted to use the tagline, 1,000 songs in your pocket, to sell these iPods. Fact number 5. Only 2% of the total applicants who apply for Apple actually get a job. Since it is known as a great workplace with challenging products and great benefits, people from all over the world, particularly in the technology field, aspire to be part of Apple. Records show that in one branch alone they will receive close to 10,000 applicants when positions become available, but only 200 get a job. Fact number 6. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was fired from his company, depending on who you ask. Steve Jobs was undoubtedly known for his innovative approach to solving problems. However, he was also known for being very difficult to work with. In a heated boardroom showdown between him and the then Apple CEO John Sully in 1985, he was removed from the company. Fact number 7. Jobs founded another company, then made his way back to Apple. He founded Next, a company that would create a new line of computers. However, it was acquired by Apple in order to bring Steve Jobs back. Eventually, Jobs was permanently made the CEO of Apple. Fact number 8. Steve Jobs wanted to give people a better customer experience, and that's why he built the Apple stores. It was considered a risky move at the time by critics, but Jobs proved them wrong when 7,700 people showed up to the first Apple store on its opening weekend. As of today, there are more than 500 stores in 18 countries worldwide. Fact number 9. Apple became a hot commodity when it was publicly offered. It instantly became the investor's choice when the IPO was released on December 12, 1980. 40 Apple employees immediately became millionaires when Apple shares rose by 32%. Fact number 10. Apple has a long history of celebrating diversity. It used to have a rainbow-coloured logo until 1999. It represented the colour possibilities of Mac computers back then. In 2016, Apple CEO Tim Cook explained that Apple is striving to be a diverse company that is open to anyone regardless of gender, race or background. Fact number 11. The first logo that Apple used was actually an illustration of Isaac Newton leaning on an apple tree. The original Apple logo didn't capture the essence of the company. Steve Jobs didn't like it and thought it was too cerebral, and it might be the reason for the slow start in sales for the company. Fact number 12. Apple makes the majority of its sales from non-computer products. In fact, a huge percentage of sales come from products that were invented after 2006, such as iPhones, iPads and iPods. Today, even though the older products still work, the rise in Apple's popularity made sure that the pre-2012 products have been replaced by the newer models available. It's rare to see somebody with a first-gen iPhone when the iPhone X is out. Fact number 13. Apple has had more money than the US Treasury. Apple at one point had so much cash it was more than the reserves of the Treasury. In the summer of 2011, it had $76.4 billion in cash, $1 billion more than what the Treasury had, making Apple an incredibly powerful company. Fact number 14. When Apple employees are working on something new, the company makes sure that they are working in an impenetrable environment. Carpenters and builders will come in and secure work areas by building thick walls and covers. The security of the building is also heightened to prevent leaks from happening. Fact number 15. The I in iPhone and iMac and other Apple products has changed its meaning throughout the years. In 1998, the I in front of Apple products meant internet because it was the biggest thing back then. In more recent years, it has been explained that it means individuality and innovation, two of the main values of the company. Fact number 16. Apple is considered as a giant in the technology industry. In fact, it is the largest technology company, surpassing Google and even bigger than Facebook. It is also the second biggest smartphone manufacturer after South Korea's Samsung. Fact number 17. Apple still hold the record for the most number of units sold 3 months after a product is released. In April 2010, Apple sold 3 million units of the iPad in 80 days upon its first release. It broke its own records a year after that when it sold 4 million units of the iPad 2 during the second quarter of 2011. Fact number 18. Apple is one of the most valuable brands in the world. In 2012, it took the top spot from Google, and it remained the most valuable brand for 5 years. In 2017, it cemented its place in the top 5 with companies like Microsoft and Amazon. Fact number 19. The first Apple product, the Apple I, was priced at $666.66. That price wasn't because of some satanic reference. Steve Wozniak, one of the founders, suggested the price because he liked repeating numbers. Fact number 20. Steve Wozniak can't be fired from Apple, technically. Since founding Apple with Steve Jobs, he's been on the Apple payroll. His direct superior was Steve Jobs alone, and upon his death, nobody became his superior, so technically nobody can fire Steve Wozniak. Fact number 21. As 20-year-old inventors, Jobs and Wozniak would sell their precious items to gain capital. Steve Jobs sold his beloved VW microbus, and Steve Wozniak, on the other hand, sold his Hewitt Packard calculator to secure the $1,350 starting capital. Fact number 22. The company released a 100% defective product. The Apple III was such a disaster, every single one was returned and had to be replaced. The initial idea was good, they created a silent computer, but due to the absence of vents, it made the computer overheat and it messed up the motherboards. Fact number 23. Apple rebranded from being a computer company to being a technology company. For 30 years, the company was known as Apple Computer. In 2007, it dropped the computer in its name, indicating their expansion to other technology-related products. Fact number 24. There is an Easter egg in the first generation iPod. If you own one, if you go to the About and press the select button for 5 seconds, you'll be able to play Brick. This game was developed by Wozniak and Jobs while they were working at Atari. Fact number 25. The name Apple came from the fruit. There was no other symbolism about the name of the company, just Steve Jobs' liking of Apple. This was revealed in his biography to end the speculation about the origins of the name of the company. Fact number 26. Apple is the most successful technology company in the world. Its profits in 2014 were more than the combined profits of Facebook, Google, and Amazon. In 2015, it set the record of the highest yearly revenue of a technology company, and it broke its own record again in 2017. Fact number 27. Apple could potentially buy out a lot of the big media companies because of its wealth. It has so much money that it could buy Facebook and Netflix at the same time. Also, its wealth reserves are enough to provide each American with $500. Fact number 28. Steve Jobs' salary as CEO was only $1. His overall net worth was $7 billion, and it's mainly because of his shares in the company. His salary was set to $1 just so he could be included in the company's health benefits. Fact number 29. Apple's headquarters is really large. Their new campus is 176 acres and is located on the former Hewitt Packard campus. It's known as the Apple Campus and has the nickname of the spaceship because of its donut-like design. Fact number 30. Apple is one of the first companies to sell a digitally coloured camera, known as the Apple QuickTake 100. It was released in 1994 with a price tag of $749, but it was discontinued in 1997 when Steve Jobs returned to Apple. Fact number 31. Apple tried to sell a gaming console, but it was a huge commercial flop. In 1996, it introduced the Pippin game console, and there was nothing wrong with it, but people just didn't buy it. The market was highly saturated at the time by Nintendo and Sony. Given it was also pricey, people stuck with the most popular consoles at the time. Fact number 32. The iPod was turned down initially by other companies. Before going to Apple, the iPod's creator went to Philips and Real Network first, but both turned him down. Apple were very excited when they heard of the idea. A team was formed to have the iPod released within the next year. Fact number 33. The iPod was a game changer in the music industry. When the iPod was introduced, it was far less bulky and more minimalistic than traditional music players. All of the companies followed suit in terms of design. In 2017, the iPod was discontinued because most people play their music now on their phones. Fact number 34. Apple was one of the first technology companies to create an AI personal assistant. Siri, Apple's personal assistant, can help users do reservations, research, and set up appointments. However, it is also known for making humorous jokes and philosophical statements. Fact number 35. Apple has a bitter history with Microsoft. At one point, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs worked together to build the software for the Macintosh. However, Bill Gates was unimpressed with Steve Jobs, so he decided to part ways. But when Microsoft released its software, Steve Jobs thought Bill Gates had stolen his ideas. Fact number 36. The bite on the Apple logo isn't to represent Adam and Eve's first sin. It has no biblical origin, and is purely a design choice. The designer showed Steve Jobs two versions, one with a bite and one without, and Steve simply chose the former. Fact number 37. The clock in all of Apple's advertisements is set to 9:41. During product reveal meetings, it generally takes around 40 minutes to get to the revealing part, so that's why the clock is set for 9:41. That extra minute is to give leeway for some minor delays. They try and stick to this time as much as they possibly can, but sometimes this can be over a minute. Fact number 38. You should try not smoking while using your Apple computers. It is actually written into their warranty. Your warranty may be void if they detect that you were smoking while using your Apple device. It's because the Apple technicians refuse to repair devices of smokers due to the effects and fears of secondhand smoke. Fact number 39. Apple used a sneaky approach to force their customers to upgrade their devices. During the launch of the iPhone 8, Apple was forced to admit that their software updates slowed the performances of older devices. Because of this public backlash, they offered cheap battery replacements and were faced with a number of lawsuits. Fact number 40. There was a third, almost unknown founder of Apple. Ronald Wayne owned 10% of Apple when it started, but left just after 12 days, receiving $800 and another payout of $1,500. He would have been a billionaire had he stayed, but he didn't regret it because he wanted to live a simple and peaceful life. Fact number 41. Apple and Samsung have a good relationship. Although they are competitive companies when it comes to smartphones, Samsung actually produces some of iPhone's components. In fact, 35% of Samsung's manufacturing income comes from Apple. Fact number 42. The iPhone was kept super secret. Only Steve Jobs and a few people knew what it would look like when it was finished. Software developers had no idea about the hardware, and hardware developers also had no idea about the software. Fact number 43. After 3 years of not releasing anything new, Apple released the smart speaker system called HomePod. This was meant to compete with the current leaders in the smart speaker systems like Amazon and Google. It also included Siri, which was meant to assist you with whatever digital needs you might have. Fact number 44. There is an Apple store that is a famous tourist spot in New York. Located on Fifth Avenue, New York, the store is definitely an architectural wonder. It cost Apple $10 million to build the store, although the actual store is underground, and the giant glass cube at the top captures the attention of the pedestrians. Fact number 45. Apple employs more people than a small-sized city. It currently has around 90,000 employees. Fact number 46. Slide to unlock is another Apple innovation. They actually have a patent for this feature. They sued Samsung before because it has a similar feature on its mobile phones. Fact number 47. The iPhone couldn't be sold as the iPhone in Brazil in 2007 because somebody had already used the name. Apple and Grandonet battled each other for the rights to the name Apple. This went on for 6 years. Grandonet had released an iPhone running on iOS, Android, and was technically different to the iPhone. Fact number 48. Mac laptops are designed for creative people. Its sleek design and easy-to-use interface, coupled with the high-quality hardware and software, make the Mac the top choice for creative people. Compared to other PCs, a Mac owner will spend less time troubleshooting a problem on their device. This is because of the synergies between Apple's hardware and software, and also there are less variations in component types. Fact number 49. The average salary of an Apple employee is $125,000 per year. Also, each employee receives their own iPhones. However, freshers, which are the name for the new employees, do not get all the perks straight away, as they are tested first on their loyalty and grit. Fact number 50. The iconic black turtleneck of Steve Jobs was actually his uniform. He wanted to use the uniform culture he observed in Sony Japan, but the employees didn't like the uniform. However, since he loved the idea so much, he asked Isley McCabe to produce it for him. So he had more than 100 black turtlenecks. And that was 50 facts about Apple. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more amazing facts. If you still haven't had your fact fix yet, try some of these following videos.